Coach Pat Noonan ahead of Game 2 on Sunday in Columbus. Carter, do you want to start us off this morning?
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
You spoke about it after the last match. The guys have spoken about it since. The need to turn the page, refocus on the next game, and not get too high off the win on Monday. Have they met that moment? How has training been this week? Have you seen the intensity you'd hoped for?
Training's been good. I mean, the intensity we've brought down, I would say, a little bit, just based on, that we had a day off after the game, and then that first day back, is still a lighter day for a majority of the guys, and then your, heavy day of the week is the first training session for the guys that started. So it was a little bit lighter than it typically would be. So just, trying to focus on some of the things that you see from the first game to to potentially adjust or revisit things that did well. So the week's been good. The message is hopefully clear of we accomplished our first goal of winning the first game and now move on and be prepared for the next.
You mentioned potentially adjusting, and I'm curious what your philosophy in this kind of situation. It's not the first time you guys have been in these best of 3 series, the third time. Do you feel a need or a desire to make a change just to make a change to keep Columbus on their toes or your opponent on their toes, whoever it may be? Or is that maybe overthinking the 3-game series nature of these kinds of matchups?
In some aspects, yes. In some aspects, no. I don't think you can just do the same thing and expect the same results. Certainly, you can still talk about individual duels or moments that change, what a game can look like. But we have to be prepared and prepare ourselves for some slight adjustments because they're looking at this game and we're looking at this game and reviewing it and saying, what did we like, what didn't we like? And then maybe you try to think of some of the things that they might adjust based on what they saw. So I would say that going into the game, there's a couple things that we know on both sides of the ball will have to look a little bit different. So we anticipate adjustments on their side, and we'll have adjustments on our side.
Winning in Columbus has been tough. You guys did it last year. Do you look back at some of those past road games and kind of see maybe some trends of maybe what to avoid, or even look at that win and take anything from those experiences?
Not particularly. We don't revisit anything from years past when it gets into this this moment because there's just too many factors that make this game different than previous years. Of course, we could look back at the game we played there to pick up or revisit a few ideas, but for the most part, it's what's the circumstances right now of now it's playoff series. Now we've won the first game, so personnel is different. All of these things kind of make this moment unique. So let's try to prepare with where we're at to best find success going and playing there. And, of course, it's a difficult place with fans that aren't on your side, a majority of them, and, a team that's very strong that wants to beat us.
How important is it to have that speed in the back against a team like Columbus that can counter-attack and just, I guess, also kind of the playing out of the back? How important is that aspect to you?
Speed's important if it's utilized the right way. I think if you're just looking at the defensive side of the ball, there was a couple moments where, we could have been exposed with play behind us, and we had some good recoveries, or they missed a pass. In moments where plays break down and the space is there for the opponent to run behind, of course, that's where speed can be an important factor. And I think there was a couple moments where we benefited from that. on the attacking side of the ball. How do you threaten, behind? How do you win in a 1v1 matchup to then create space? So it's just it all comes down to how you utilize it. And I think on the defensive side of the ball, certainly we benefited from it in a few instances. And then I think the second question was build.
The building out of the back.
What's the opponent's tendencies? What are our strengths? You kind of look at those things to say, do we want to try to invite pressure? Do we want to play around, through, over, all of it? It's what gives us the best opportunity to have success. So it's not, for me, we're not trying to build for the aesthetics of it. We're trying to build to be efficient, and the build looks different for us depending on some of the things that we're trying to exploit or personnel on the field. So, like I said, there'll probably be a few adjustments from game one.
Well, can we go to injuries? Lucas, I saw him back in the group.
Mhm.
Is he good to go, or where's he kind of?
Lucas is good.
And then Luca didn't play, but was on the
Mhm.
bench. Was he like kind of an emergency option there? Like how?
He was.
Is he
His minutes were limited, and if it was a situation where we felt it was going to go into a penalty shootout, which of course it could have, but when we were with the lead, we wanted to make adjustments that didn't involve him in game one. But now he's gotten through a lot of important days of training, and he'll be good to go from the start.
And then what about IU?
Ayub's available as well. Him and Lucas were kind of they returned at the same time for different reasons, but both of them are available, and certainly that's a positive with what Ayub can provide.
Pat, you highlighted Elvis Powell's impact on the game post-game on Monday. I'm struck by the reminder, I think, from Patrick's game notes that he's the most experienced player in the MLS Cup Playoffs that you have on the team in terms of purely games played.
Okay.
And I was curious about the kind of experience in these kinds of games and how that can translate to the way the game is played and how valuable that can be to what you guys do, compared to a guy like perhaps Ender or Sammy who play really big moments for you, but had in their first experience in the playoffs. Is there a veteran experience that can kind of wear off on those kinds of guys that can, as a leader in that kind of situation?
Yeah, it can be beneficial for kind of understanding what the moment's going to look like, what the feelings are going to be. So that's where Alvis benefits more than probably an Ender, of just understanding what a playoff game will look and feel like, and then a playoff game against a rival. So those things are new to Ender, but how does the individual handle those things? It doesn't matter that Ender hasn't been in this situation before with us, but because if he has a strong mentality and he has good confidence, then he can step on the field and have success. And so it's based on the individual, but also with the experienced player. What are they doing to help others, by leading with their intensity, maybe in a training session? Oh, this looks different. Okay, that's leading by example. Does he use his voice to help guys around him because he has a good idea of what to expect and how to guide guys? So it's just how an experienced player uses previous opportunities in those moments, and then how they can communicate to kind of understand how impactful they can be. So Alvis has the games, and certainly I think he came into this game and understood his role, and then even in a slightly different role than we're accustomed to seeing him, performed well.
Last one for me on another experienced stringer team, Nick Haglund, was an FC1 Comeback Player of the Year. You've spoken at length about the value that Nick brings, but to see him rewarded like that, how nice is that for him and for your group to see that kind of work rewarded in a major award?
Yeah, I think Nick said it, or I saw a video where his wife said it. You don't want to be winning this award because it means that you were out for a period of time. But it's nice to, I guess, be recognized for how you dealt with adversity. And it doesn't surprise us with Nick, but I do think it was a cool way of showcasing how he won the award. I thought that was creative, and there were some very unique aspects of that video that Nick, I think I told him he should probably share it because it'll shock some people. But it was a testament to really what he's about. So hopefully, like his wife said, he doesn't have to be experiencing this award again.
Speaking of him, is he doing okay physically at this stage of the season?
Yeah, he was. He dealt with a knock at the end of the game. He was, a little tight, and so it was more preventative at that moment. But he's needed a couple extra days to recover. So hopefully the next couple days are positive for him, and he's available.
It seems like he's kind of taken his game back to a high level at least these
Mm-hmm.
couple games, especially. What are you seeing from him, maybe compared to a little bit earlier in the season when he was struggling a little?
Yeah, well, he's gotten opportunities. I think I said it a few month back, that maybe it was unfair that he wasn't selected on a few occasions, but I think there was others that were ahead of him, and I think similar to Nick, he's a strong character and can get through tough moments. He wasn't being selected, but he came in the right way every day, and that's when you have experienced players, when you have situations that present themselves where that we're in now, and maybe it's an injury, or maybe you're just thrown out there in a moment where you weren't expecting it. Are you prepared for it because you put your head down and worked, and you didn't feel sorry for yourself or look for pity? That was teenage, and now I think in these last couple weeks, he's been as consistent as we've seen for quite some time. So again, that speaks to how teenage goes about it, and why has he been more successful? I think simplicity in decision making. There's still things, even when I look at the first matchup, that he can do better. Positioning, on ball ideas. I think defensively he made a lot of good plays, but it's just recognizing, from the preparation, some of the things that need to happen with and without the ball. He's been more consistent with that, and I think simplified some things that maybe got him in trouble in the past. So, it's understanding your role in the moment, and he stepped up in a good way at this time.
Were those things that you guys had given him feedback on, like things that he needed to work on, and now you're seeing?
Yeah,
like
they're always getting feedback, positive, negative. We try not to ignore people based on who's playing and who's not. So whether it's myself giving a message, other coaches speaking with these guys, sometimes you pull one of their teammates aside and say, how's he doing? Or, hey, man, go have a word. You try to take care of each other and make sure that everybody's prepared, like I said. And so, we were giving them feedback, whether it was in a team setting, whether it was individual or group. So that's a part of our weekly routine. And so they're always getting feedback and hearing things. And sometimes that can be good. Sometimes that can be challenging. So he always takes it in stride and knows that we have his best interests in mind. And I think he handled a tough stretch well. And now you're seeing it pay off in a good way.
One last one. Pat, happy Halloween, first and foremost.
Happy Halloween.
Do you have a favorite Halloween candy that maybe you like to treat yourself with, or?
I think I've answered this, so I think we have to go back to whenever you asked again, so I don't make up some new answer.
Okay.
I'll
I'll track it down.
Or
Twix
right
Twix was up there
Mhm.
in the past. I tell you what, they don't get handed out here, but the English chocolates they've taken over our office in a good way. So,
That sounds right.
but I think Twix was probably the candy of choice growing up, but now it's the English chocolates.
I know St. Louis has the trick or treat to tell a joke as well. Did you have
That's
one?
also
Did you have one you remember from childhood telling?
no, no, no. It was probably a rude, open the pillow case, just put it in there so I can go on to the next.